One. Hello. This is Mix and Corey. This is a show and tell. Corey's been around on Scuttlebutt for a while, and I was interested to know more about the project that I've seen him working on. Yeah, do you want to introduce yourself um, and then introduce your project?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm Corey. I don't know, I'm a game developer in upstate New York, and for some reason I latched onto Secure Scuttlebutt and wanted to make something with it, and I made Tilde Friends. I'm just going to jump right in. This is Tilde Friends. You can see my screen. Um, this is a platform for making and sharing apps using Secure Scuttlebutt. Um, here, there's some stuff at the top that you always see. I'm not logged in, and this is a little app browser. Let's go ahead and make an account. Do demo. Okay, so now I'm logged in as demo. I'm going to hop into the Secure Scuttlebutt app, and then I'll explain what I'm doing and how it's all working. I'm going to create an identity. Oh, and hello world. I'm going to make my first post. It's going to ask me if I'm allowed to do that. Yeah. And there's my first Secure Scuttlebutt post. So a lot of things just happened here. Tilde Friends is, well, here we're visiting tildefriends.net. It's a C program running on a Raspberry Pi I have. You can build and run yourself. It runs on Android. And all it really does is run a web server. It does some like core functionality, like giving you an account system and this interface here, and then it runs your app and gives you access to like a secure sandbox iframe where the app can do its things. And that's about that.
Can I ask you about so you just minted a key pair for an identity to post. Is the key pair living on the Raspberry Pi?
It is. It lives on the server right now. That's just a decision I made at the time. It's not set in stone. I may switch to doing entirely client side.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And can you tell me when I was looking at that? So I took the app for a spin, and there's all those like pre-populated hashtag looking things where you just posted. Can you tell me what those are, or like where they come from?
So this server has a handful of accounts on it. I followed a bunch of people. It's replicated a lot of feeds. This is just searching for recent hashtags from all of the accounts that it has replicated. So these are, I could show you the query. It's something like the last 2 weeks of, I'm not going to find it right now.
That's fine.
I tend to do a lot of things just by doing a full text search for like channel or something, and then getting a huge dump of messages and filtering out exactly what I need. Sometimes I filter on who you're following. In the case of tags, I just went global.
Sure.
I should show the editor quick, but I should do it on something a little less crazy past than the Secure Scuttlebutt client. Like here, that's pretty simple. The little app, which I don't know, maybe it's hard to say. I'm gonna go save it under my account. Saved. I'm gonna go visit it under my account. This workflow is not good. The first time experience is pretty bad. I'm working on that. So now I have my own copy of it here, and I'm just gonna put something in that we can see. Oops. There's some HTML here. Man, I'm failing with this.
That's all right.
Hello, Mix. Okay, there's my change. If this were a more interesting app and a more interesting change, this might have been somewhat compelling.
So no. But can you walk us through like, so I'm unclear about like what was saved, where it was saved, who could see this or access it. Like, yeah, fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so the server has it stores everything in one SQLite database. Um, all the secure scuttlebutt stuff is done in that. There's a messages table and a blobs table, and it follows exactly what's in all the docs. In addition to that, I pretty much have one table of that's a key value store for users, and so what I've done is when I save an app, I stick all the files as blobs in the database.
Mm-hmm.
I stick one more blob in that has a little manifest of what the files are for the app, and I set a key in the key value store that's like, oh, this user has this app and it lives in that blob. So that's like the entire data structure there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went and saved it under my account, it really just made the new pointer to the manifest for me. And then I make a change to the source here, and it's my own blob, and I update the app to point to it.
And being a blob on Scuttlebutt, does that mean that I could potentially subscribe to that? To not subscribe, I guess, but I could pull your version of this.
That's the goal. I mean, yes. Currently, the only thing you can do is if you go back to this app, I can attach an app. I've only got the one. I attach it. This interface isn't great, but here's the app. So now this goes out, it's message, it'll get replicated. I could be on another machine and see the message, and there's that app.
Oh, right. Cool. And that's
So
the
it's
blob,
running it
and that's the
from that
blob in the address bar.
Yeah.
And would that use? So presumably that blob reads the current person who's running it, their like account details. So instead of, if I ran this, I would see Mix's apps instead of Demo's apps. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it has the full context of, and it knows who's authenticated. In this case, I'm just accessing a raw blob, so I don't have the context of like who owns it. But if I access it from a URL with a username, it knows who owns it, and that might imply some database that's shared by that user. But yeah, I mean, there are many questions you can ask that will be like, does it do it this way or that way? And the answer is, well, I did the first thing that worked for me.
Yeah.
We could do it the other way if there's a compelling reason. In this case, it's like, well, I have access to the users that I know about and do the best thing I can think of at the time.
And I saw there was a pop up which is like, does this app have the capability to, or the permission to publish,
Yep.
or like use? That sort of suggests that you have like that the apps might have like an API. Which, have you come up with an API which the apps have to operate through, or like how is that working?
Let me go to my. This is my work in progress API documentation. It's like all things, it's rough. The the main API is really only accessing the database. Some user manipulation stuff. I'm trying to think of what's actually relevant for user apps. Just the key value store and like the secure scuttlebutt database. Those are the main things that you might interact with. There's a function to push out the HTML to the iframe, and there's some messaging to send stuff back and forth. Like that's really the interesting API. Everything else is just like on top of that and can change. You can throw it out. You asked, did I answer any of that?
How does it persist? So, how does it persist the publish permissions, for example?
Same database. There's some key value entries that are out of the user's reach that the core uses to validate that you're allowed to do something. yeah, some of these I manually hooked in. Like if you call, what's it? Post message? No, that's not the one. Store append. I don't remember. Append message with identity. That's the one that is doing the post here. That just does a check to that permissions entry to see if it even needs to ask the user, and then does a round trip with the dialog. And if you click allow, then it proceeds with the operation.
Mm-hmm. And so is it persisting it as a message, the permission for a particular app to be able to?
No. That lives outside of the replicated secure scuttlebutt part of the database. It's just a key value entry.
Right, got it. So you've got another database that is like out of band in terms of replication.
Yeah.
Cool.
I second guess whether I should just, I don't know, encrypt those entries and let them be replicated. I don't want to pollute. There's a lot of things to balance. I don't want to pollute the public replicated part. I don't want to leak secrets. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So there's just some local storage. I also do some things with the browser's local storage.
Oh yeah.
Mostly just. I think this ID, if you have multiple, it remembers your current one using that. Apps can read and write to that too.
So do you use this as your like daily driver for interacting with Scuttlebutt, or like what do you use it for personally?
Yeah, I do. I don't remember how long it's been.
Do you mind if can we look at that at Scuttlebutt from your perspective as opposed to from the sort of demo account, if you don't mind?
Sure. Full disclosure, or warning, I might, who knows what we'll see here, because this will be, random accounts.
Yes.
Sorry, it defaulted to an account that doesn't have much interesting in it. I think, are we loading or are we? I've got my little meters up here. I think we're doing some database operations.
With Scuttlebutt, sorry, did you say everything's in a SQL database?
Yes.
Right. So can you tell us a little bit more about the stack while it's doing its... There we go. Can you tell us a little bit more about the stack that you're running? Like, you said it's running on a Raspberry Pi. Is it running the JavaScript or the Node stack for anything, or what's it running?
Nope, it's all brand new C code that I wrote.
You wrote C code for Scuttlebutt? Huh.
Yeah. That's what you do in 2023.
Nice.
I recently added this query tab where I can just be like, select star from messages, limit 3.
I love it.
So just to show you that, yeah.
I implemented a feature previously that was a little bit similar to this in Patch Bay, but not with a SQL database. That's cool.
It's been very interesting. Like, every time I run into a wall where something's too slow, and I'm just like, this is unbearable. I'm never going to be able to make this work. I add an index or just reverse hard to the query or something, and suddenly it's fast enough. And it's like, oh, okay. It took a couple seconds to load there. I think that had to do with switching accounts, and I don't do that often, so I don't optimize that. So, I don't know if that was like 3 seconds. That's tolerable for my daily drive.
Choice.
I am not a web developer, so there are a lot of things here that just like.
I mean, it's working.
Why is that image so big? I should have done something. I could do better to load more messages in certain contexts, but it does work.
And so I noticed the UI is like live updating, so the CPU usage, for example, and also I was doing something else the other day and I saw something come through live, I think. How are you doing that? Is this WebSockets?
Yes. Almost all the work is done over one WebSocket.
Mm-hmm. And so do you... So you've written your own scuttlebutt node, like peer sort of instance, and then that has different methods you can call over WebSockets.
Um, how should I? Well, I do have I had a diagram that I made once that was quite good. I don't know if I still do.
Are your docs are the docs on Scuttlebutt or are they in the source code?
They're on TildeFriends.net. I link them occasionally. Here are all my apps.
Whoa.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. I mean, okay. The first thing I had was a core C program that could run JavaScript in subprocesses. That was what I wanted to like focus on sandboxing well. So there's a custom RPC between your code that runs as a subprocess of the Tilde Friends server
Mm-hmm.
and the Tilde Friends server. But then that's parallel to that. There's code that runs in the web browser, which establishes a WebSocket connection, and the part of the web app that you send to the browser.
Mm-hmm.
So for a different component, half of it's sandboxed on the appropriate side, and there's custom RPC involved, there's WebSockets involved, and then there's like browser post messages between the iframe and the thing. So if you want to like, there's quite a lot of remote procedure call going around to like call a function that actually stores something in the database. You're jumping around processes quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. Have you did you so I was looking at the connections as well. Did you implement epidemic broadcast tree stuff?
Yes.
Wow, how did that go?
I'm still not certain I've done it actually right.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
I mean, I think I could be more efficient. I think I need to like, I don't do all the right things, or like stop sending me updates from this feed, whatever. I think I definitely have bugs with rooms right now. I notice I tend to not stay connected.
Yeah.
But everything's working well enough that like I'm getting my messages, I'm getting out there. I check every now and then with Manyverse or whatever. Like, yeah, things are being
I kind of love
propagating.
that even if the connections are intermittent, that the structure of Scuttlebutt is such that you can verify if it worked.
Yep. Well, let's see. I used to have names here. They don't. This needs some work. I should just stop saying that. Everything needs work. Okay.
Yeah, I know the nature of this. You're building the stack at the same time as building the interface.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been a blast. Like, we arranged this because I was able to talk to you over the internet from code I typed. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. My mind is constantly blown by like, what just happened? This worked. Like the bugs are like, I don't know, a vote or a reaction doesn't show up in time. Like, that's not the end of the world for me right now.
Yeah. Well, are there any other apps that you would like to show us? Because we can see the like social side of Scuttlebutt there coming through. I had a little look at chess. Chess looked pretty ugly but functional. But I didn't play with anyone.
I couldn't tell if people like still. Oh no! Come on. There we go.
These are all the chess games. Oh no, this looks way better than what I was interacting with.
I don't know. It might have something to do with the font or the.
Yeah.
Maybe I updated it once. I saw that there were messages, so I tried to parse them and see what I could do with them. And
Wow, cool.
that was fun.
What about the blog one? Because I worked on some of the blog format thing in the past.
Unfinished. I want to move my personal website to this, and this was the start of it. Just a little thing to craft blog messages and submit them, and I think it really doesn't do anything beside the create update stuff.
Cool. Have you messed with any now I'm just asking things that I'm personally interested in as opposed to more generic, but Have you looked at any of the Tangle stuff in terms of like causal ordering of threads? Did you grok that when you saw that?
No, I have. I couldn't tell if that was. No, I haven't.
Mm-mm.
I
Well, I'd love to.
I
I'd love to
ordered
give
by
you.
timestamp.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'd love to give you a primer on like how that works at some point. I think I made some diagrams, and yeah, I think it's really beautiful and elegant. And it's also I also did some work on like adding CRDT type interactions to Scuttlebutt. So what I mean by that is like a thread is kind of like a mutable document. A chess game is also like a mutable document or record or something where like updates are like events that come in. And so,
Oh, I should show you. Yeah, I think about that a lot. Well, okay, so first thing, let's look at the issues app, which again, work in progress. I have the TFRPC stuff is just I forget, it's like a 100-line JavaScript library that I made for talking between the iframe and the app. Um, I think there are a couple things that I want to build out libraries like that for. I want to make that one better. I want to do one for, yeah, probably is it CRUD, CRDT, whatever
yeah.
that concept is. So here I just, whatever, I register some of the functions exposed by the core, and then over in the script here, I can see if, I don't know, call the functions just like they're functions, and they're all async and JavaScript, and it's happy. I tend to do, here's a good example. There are a couple times where I've written the gnarly function where like I store something in a key value pair, which has like a version number and the last row ID it's seen, or the last whatever sequence number for each user, and I do those operations and update that cache of information and store it back. I think that's probably the next thing I need a library for. Just have written that over and over and over. Here I'm just doing a gnarly join.
Mm-hmm.
Where's a good example? The Secure Scuttle app is by far the craziest, both in user interface and in database operations it does.
I can't believe you got a little text editor in the UI. Is that I didn't click the edit button because it was.
Oh, that's the best part.
No, I know. Like, well, I just didn't
that's
know
why
where
we're
to.
here.
I didn't know where to start when I like spun up Tilde Friends.
Yeah. I mean, it's just code mirror. It's list of files. Here's the file you're editing. I usually do like Alt S, I think is the.
Did you
whatever.
Did you ever use? There was this one of my favorite features in Patch Bay was in the past was there was a like replicated CSS, so you could have you could have apps, and then like different people could like upload themes which would skin them, and then those would be announced via Scuttlebutt, and so you could look, populate a drop down with like Cell's theme or like Mix's theme or like Mikey's theme or whatever, and
That's fantastic.
that was like a fun little thing.
Huh. Yeah, no, I'm waiting for like the first time someone is like, here's the SSB app, but I changed all the colors. Like, I'm on board.
Do you
What's he doing?
can the apps talk to each other or consume one another? Like one of the ideas I've seen recur in this sort of peer-to-peer space is the idea that you could have apps which are like widgets, and then it's programmers love modular fractal shit, and so the idea that you could have like a response or like a vote or a like widget which you can then drop in or like reference, and then it becomes part of your UI, so that you only ever have to write the identity or avatar widget once, but then you could build the Scuttlebutt one out of those little bits and pieces. It's a total. I don't know if it's a great idea or a terrible time sink, but have you thought about that? Or
I've thought about that. Tilde Friends, I've honestly been bouncing it around for a very long time in different forums. I think it was like I played with V8 when it came out, and that's how it started. If you want to date it. But so I've gone through various forums where like, okay, some of the apps will keep running in the background as services, and you can talk to them and call functions back and forth. I've done all sorts of different things like that. I think it's all overcomplicated and doesn't accomplish anything for me right now. So I gutted all of that. You can talk to the to the main process, and that's it. I've generally structured things. So, I mean, I've started using lit elements, so things are whatever JavaScript components, agent web components. I don't know what the word is. Yeah, web components. So the places where I wanted to reuse the user picker, I copied that file and pasted it.
Yeah, sure. Do you have with the apps? Do you have any like the back to the sort of like capability permissions sort of thing? Do you have like if I grab one of your apps or copy it, is there a way that I can know without reading JavaScript like what this can access? Like, can it publish? Does it access my keys directly and like send them to a third party? Does it looks like I got disconnected. Hopefully Corey will be back in a moment.
That was weird. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay.
Yeah, so how do I trust nefarious blobs or potentially nefarious blobs?
I haven't done that style of permissions, but I've done anything that I think does a significant operation. It will prompt you at least the first time. I haven't actually thought about pre-declaring. I guess I was so put off by apps that ask me for things that I never want them to use, and I can't run the app unless I accept it, that I didn't go that route.
Yeah, interesting. And
I can see the case for that.
But it's an interesting thing. People have in a chat group and have been talking about like if you take a sort of capabilities approach to things, that the UX can potentially be quite different and less annoying. I'm still learning about capabilities and what that could mean, like capability UX.
I want to be able to make all sorts of apps that publish secure scuttlebutt messages, but I don't want to show users the JSON. Like, that's not a good user experience to be like, do you want to post this message? Here's your chess move. But it's not good enough to say, like, it wants to append a message. Do you want to allow it? So I haven't figured out that part yet. One thought is that you put things in a queue, and then you have to go to the SSB app to accept it or something where it might visualize it better.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, other thoughts on that front would be social trust. So if you can see an app that you could use that friends are using, and I see that like Stoltz or Cell have reviewed it and given it a thumbs up, and it's like a blob that is locked in version, so people can't like swap in some things later, then that's another signal of trust. It's like, I don't know if that scales, but but social reputation for applications.
I think I'm at the point where I need users to have to vote on things.
Yeah. Well, can we?
I think. Go ahead.
Can I ask you more questions about? I guess like where Tilde Friends is for you. Is it a hobby side project that you are just enjoying exploring and don't really want obligations around? Is it I would love to like collaborate with some people on this, and would I'd be up for pairing with someone on building their first app, or using Tilde Friends, or I would be up for um, writing a guide if someone wanted to use it. Um, or yeah, there's a whole spectrum of like
Yeah.
aspirations for something like this.
I would say first, it's something that I want to exist. Like, like I come from the like I don't know. I booted up QBasic on my 8086 back in the day, and I could I don't know type and see something in 5 seconds and put it on a floppy disk and give it to my friend. That was the epitome of I could make something and share it. So here today everything's changed. Everyone has a web browser. I want to be able to go into it, type, hit save. Now there's a web app, and I can share that with my friend. So like that's the experience I'm trying to achieve. I'm not trying to make business of this. I'm not. I am very excited about it. It's a passion project. I'm doing it for fun, but I want it to exist.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely open up to like pairing with people to writing documentation. I'm just at that point where I'm able to do that though. I had to like jump through hoops at work to get permission to whatever to own this myself. So
are you doing this during work time?
No, but just the way
Agreements.
business works, game development works, I had to jump through hoops and get a paper signed. That's how I can do this.
You're allowed to have hobby projects, you mean?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry to hear
that.
that.
But that was a recent milestone, so here I am.
What's the licensing on it, and where's the source code?
MIT. I have it. I don't know. I didn't want to jump into using GitHub, or I didn't want to. I would like to be using Git SSD, but I haven't even taken the time to set that up yet. So I've been pushing out a zip file or whatever, a tarball every now and then.
Pushing it out where? On Scuttlebutt?
Scuttlebutt.
I kind of love/hate this thing, which is like, you just need to physically know Corey to be able to engage with the software. I kind of love it, but it's also
you can also grab it from the server itself. There's a releases app that has some links to download.
But
so you don't need to solve that problem.
Does the tar or zip file or whatever have the source code, or is it the compiled binary or whatever? Okay.
There's a tarball at the source. There's an Android APK.
Okay, so in terms of collaboration, well, I guess there's two layers of collaboration, right? There's like building apps doesn't require anything like this, but contributing or whatever to Tilde Friends, the framework would require some sort of version control, I think.
I mean, I have it in a Subversion repository myself, but I think I was following, who is it, Fabrice, I can't remember, Fabrice Ballard, whatever, he's very prolific and just pushes out the source in zip files or whatever, and that's good enough.
Yeah, cool. What other questions have I got? Mobile aspirations? Question mark? I mean, I
use the Android app.
The Android app? What do you mean?
Yeah, there's an APK here. I've got it.
What does the APK do? Is it for Is it run an instance of Tilde Friends?
Yeah, it's just the same thing again. Yeah.
What's running there? Is that just a web page, or is it?
It's a web view pointed at the C server running on the phone.
Hold on, the server runs on the phone?
Yeah. That's what you do.
Yeah, okay. But why have I not heard about this? That's great. Can the phone talk to other peers? Do you have that set up?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Where's the APK?
Tilde Corey / releases.
Can you show it on screen so that people can look it up?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I
right
should
here.
gather a bunch of links.
Oh, I'm not sharing anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I've been recording our faces talking for a change of scenery anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is the releases page, and there's source and an APK. Grab them.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention enough when I read this. And it runs on phones fine?
Yeah.
Crikey. I mean, well done. Congratulations. This is amazing. I'm so glad that I invited this conversation or like this show and tell.
I feel like I have something else shared. To-do app. You gotta have a to-do app. And there, now it's real. There's a to-do app.
It's real. Okay. Right. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just a little bit surprised, shocked by the degree and the amount of work that you've probably done building this. It's cool. And have you had any interest? Have people been kicking the tires?
I mean, you can see that there are some local accounts. I don't know how far people have gotten. I think you can click on the edit link. Like the onboarding process is not there.
Yeah.
Like the experience is not there.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will help, and I'm working on docs. It'll get better.
How much of the UI? So that top bar is fixed, but everything else is malleable. Is that correct?
Yep. This is all the app down here, and that's out of your reach.
Like the gray box itself is an app, right?
Yep.
Oh, well, this is very exciting.
What did I do? I feel like I should have some. I had some more interesting apps. Sneaker Share or SneakerNet. You gotta have that. Sizes. Load message sizes. I'll let that run while we chat. Come on. I thought I had to update more frequently. There we go.
Oh, very nice. Oh, these are user accounts. Who is that?
Yep.
23. I recognize some of my old keys. Who's 23 megabytes? Can you click through to them or find them?
I forget. Oh, my CPU fans are speeding up.
52 megabytes. Who's that?
VYQ? I thought I had a thing to... I didn't make these links. Oh, well.
That's fine.
I wonder...
I just didn't...
I'll look them up later.
I wasn't aware that anyone got out to 52 megabytes for their logs.
I think that's just... Here, let's go...
Let me just write a query.
That's what it was, right? VIQ. Let's limit that, maybe. Oh, here we go. SBot. What is this? Contact. I don't know what these are. Oh, yeah, I don't know what this is. Snake House? It looks like some kind of game thing. I've seen this before. I don't know what this is. It's a flood of messages that are all these like...
Oh, yeah. I think this got blocked. So it's not inside my range, but I create and sell, yeah. It had like some tokeny sort of vibes to it. I had a look at the messages as well and was like, what the heck is that?
Oh, it's 50 megabytes.
And 50 megabytes says like, that's posting a lot. there's me. I'm YE. That's my first account. The one next to it, 18 megabytes. That's a cool graph. That's a cool graph.
Yeah. We did talk through a lot of parts of this. I wish I had better visualizations of how things worked.
I mean, I'm quite strongly compelled to run this on my phone now. I mean, like, making phone apps is the challenge.
Yes, I love that I can just make something and like share the message and it's on my phone. Yeah. Tic-tac-toe, that was a boring one. I was going to show like, I should just make a new app.
Oh, okay. I've got other questions.
Keep them coming.
So I was going to ask, are you using like DB2 or DB1, but you're not even using JavaScript for the databases? Oh yeah, future questions. So one of the challenges with Scuttlebutt that has emerged is there's a need and desire to like separate things out into separate content out into different subfeeds. This is particularly relevant for like private groups and for multi-device. So the idea that an identity could transcend just a particular key pair. So to that end, like that's some of the research that Stoltz has been doing with his PPPPP whatever thing. Do you have any interest in that or exploring that? I mean, it would involve changing a bunch of stuff probably.
Yeah, I've kind of been sitting back and letting that go off. I don't like him go off on his own on that.
Yeah,
I've been trying not to. I can't keep up with everything because I wouldn't be able to make any progress on my own stuff if I was doing that. If I was chasing everything. I mean, like you saw, I do support multiple accounts per user.
yes.
I obviously like want that behavior, but I love the simplicity of like feed. It's a feed of messages. They're blobs.
Yep.
You're done. Build whatever you want on top of that.
So I think that's where that app idea for apps that can consume other apps might become quite relevant, because if I could write an application which is like, this application manages identity, it provides an API where you can say, you give it a key and it tells you who the person is, and all of the keys associated with them, so that, for example, a replication application could, when I say follow Mix, that knows to follow Mix's phone, his computer, and his laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
Later. I mean, like, I'm not trying to put these problems on. There's so many things to build around Scuttlebutt generally.
That is a problem. Yeah. Too many exciting things.
Well, I think I might pause the recording right now. Is that fine by you? Do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Sure. Yeah, that's good for me.